So this discussion on love is grounded in the space of recognizing, pointing out that this system that has weaponized everything else that you can imagine has also weaponized the idea of love beyond the already weaponized reality itself to control the mind, to control the way you experience for a profit, to siphon energy, to siphon resources, to siphon time right under your nose. So the basic premise is to focus all of your energy, all of your highest vibrating. If you were to see your thoughts as energy, one of the lowest energies that you could express, feel in a moment is fear. One of the highest is love. So there's a spectrum. Feels good to say, yeah, I love this, I love that, I love my dog, I love my cat. Isn't it a little suspicious that that word is used for so many things and not saved for the most potent experiences of your life? If it's given, if you have something and it's given, if you say that you love everything, then the term, it loses itself. It no longer exists. If you use the same term for your child as you would for a cheeseburger, what are you really saying? It changes the person to force them to engage in a synthetic love. Then you start creating a synthetic version of yourself because it's so relevant to your experience. So when you romanticize everything, when you turn love into romanticism, love ceased to exist. Now, you can say love, but love in parentheses, and the real definition is romanticism. So I love this burger. I love these fries. I love this book. I love my cat. So where does the love come in reference to the organic growth, the unmanipulated experience? Where is it truly needed? Where does it happen organically? Where is the most potent version of that? This isn't to take away from how you feel towards other things, other people. It's only to amplify and focus on what that really is, to make it more than what we've been told it's supposed to be. I would want to know what something like that is really supposed to be focused on. I felt what I thought was love as an 18-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 30-year-old. And each time it was different. It was relative to the same concept, but each time it was different because I was different. Each time that experience got more refined, and I was challenging myself to look at myself in what that is, which isn't necessarily a normal thing. We're not conditioned, we're not trained, it's taboo to work on yourself. You have been conditioned to put all of your energy into the system, to fuel this system at your expense. And when you do that, you lose a part of yourself. Where does that part of yourself go? It goes to whatever system or person has convinced you to focus your energy on. In this example, it's the system that takes people, puts them into a work farm for the rest of their lives, and takes their future generations and does the same thing. In order to do that, you have to lose your deepest reflections, definitions, understandings, understandings, overstandings of who and what you are. That has to be shrunk to nothing, near nothing. You have to strive to invest yourself, your energy, your work, your focus, your art into that system. This is what the public education system does. This is how you start to love the system through loving the information, the so-called intelligence, the so-called education. In that focusing of that energy, you're pulling away from the organic love that you had when you were born. 9 times out of 10, born into an experience of people who have already lost that relationship, that definition. Orders of magnitude separated from love. Your mother, your father had a broken definition, if they had any definition of love. Why do they not have it? Largely because their parents didn't have it, and then their parents didn't have it, and then their parents didn't have it, and so on and so forth. In the modern times, largely because there's no time, there's no energy, there's no intelligence to focus that love, all by design. So you have broken people trying to find and attain a broken definition of love through consuming in partnership other people in relationships. Is that love? No. You have 2 broken music boxes. They're not even playing their own music. You can't put 2 broken music boxes together and hope that you're going to make music. It's not going to happen. You're going to have noise. But the system convinces you that that noise is love. So, back to when you're born. In a relationship between a mother and a father and a child just born, where's the deepest love? Is it between the mother and the father? No. Is it between the mother and the child? The father and the child? Organically, you can observe that the relationship that you have to a brand new part of you, untouched, unmanipulated, fresh. Why is love needed in that aspect? It promotes growth. It promotes intelligence. It promotes the evolution of that being. If it's in a healthy relationship, it promotes the evolution of both the mother and the father as well. In the child's perspective of reality, love is the fuel. Without it, they're growing on E. Is it possible? Obviously. Is it healthy? Of course not. You're taking a critical element, a building block, to the healthy evolution of this being. Biology, psychology, soulology. It's lacking nutrients, critical minerals. Love to a child is not like food or water, it's food and water. Food is the love to a child. When they're touching the mother, they're creating a relationship. They learn subconsciously. All that's built in. But if you don't have it built in you, how are you going to pass it down to your child? So love is there as a fail-safe. When that child is first born into this experience, a protective barrier, protection, a shield for that child is an invisible love that transcends even this experience. As you grow, you either grow into the depths of this experience and lose that connection you had, or in a healthy experience, you're raised with that connection into the being you're to become, into a closer version to your higher self. When you're born into broken relationships with broken people, you're struggling to get back to an equilibrium your entire lives, largely. And that struggle can be monetized. And it can only be monetized if you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You are lost in chaos. So they take that energy and channel you into a particular path. And on that path, the design is to lose yourself. Lose the love you have of yourself. Lose the awareness that you have of yourself. And download, adopt the identity of the experience, what this experience has told you to believe about yourself. Love is not like everything else. Just like water is not like anything else. You can't say water is like soda. It's pure. It's relevant. It's It makes up who you are. Look at the difference between water and food. Does food make up who you are? To some degree. Equal to the extent of water? Absolutely not. This whole experience is water. The way you hear, the way you see, the sky, the air. When you make love, it's water. When you're born in this experience, into love, what happens? Your water breaks, breaking you into this experience through water. Like a core memory, water is your core element, your connection, your main cord, connecting you to outside of this experience, beyond this experience. Your water, pure, without being tainted by this experience, is who you really are. Born into an unhealthy relationship, that water turns into soda. It becomes caustic. It starts to eat away at everything it touches, including the individual. Your food, like water, it turns into fast food. Can you survive? Can you live? Yes. Can you experience? Yes. Can you appear healthy? If you work out? Yeah. If you balance in other ways? Yes. Is it your max potential? Absolutely not. But the appearance is all that matters in this world that has no real definition of love anyway. So this is how that water is weaponized. To understand what it is, we have to understand what it does, what it's meant to do. Is it meant to make you go to the store and get chocolates and balloons and flowers and shit? No, that's not what love is meant for. Biologically, psychologically, across the board, what is it for? People argue that it's for bringing people together to create life. That's what I thought. But even that is a synthetic version of something that's more organic, something that happens naturally. Which is more organic? The love that a mother and a father has for their child, or a love that a mother and father have for each other? Well, where's the point? In the love that you have for a child, there's a meaning, there's a purpose there. You're raising life, you're raising intelligence, growth. By the time a man and a woman get together, they've already grown. Do you need love? No. Do you need love to reproduce? No. You can have two empty, hollowed out souls still have a baby. Happens every day. They don't need love to do that. A child needs love. So there you go. There's your first clue. There's a need there. For what? For growth, for evolution, for connection, to grow, to evolve. For what? The why is irrelevant. The point is, there's a difference. And the shrinking down, the watering down of every other relationship that you say is in love is the weaponization of that experience, of that definition. And in that weaponization, it takes away from what it truly is meant for control. Why take that definition? Why manipulate it? Unhealthy children grow into unhealthy adults. Unhealthy adults can be controlled because without your health, you are powerless. And when you're powerless, you can be controlled. So they get you at the earliest stage, before you're born. They get your parents, they get your grandparents. They shift their definition. They water everything down. By the time you get here, you're 5, 6, 7 generations separated from your ability to even know what love really is. You're stuck in living under the roof of what you've been told love is. Guilted, shamed, forced into romanticism at every level, from your own parents, from the ones who are supposed to provide you with that love. That gap that you have with your parents, it isn't just lingering out there, it's filled. What is it filled with? It's filled with everything that your parents are insecure with in the relationship with you. raising you. Because their beliefs, their definitions, their interpretations of this reality, they don't come from them as much as they want to convince themselves that it has. It doesn't come from them. It came from how they adjusted to this experience. And when they've gotten to a point of equilibrium in that unhealthy experience, they call that accomplishment. They call that love. When largely, what people are calling love is really lust. When you're 18, 19, 20, your brain isn't even fully developed yet. Your water, your intelligent water that you are going to be for the rest of your life, all of your critical elements to your experience aren't even here yet. You haven't even got them yet. And you're saying you're in love. That's like building a monster truck. And before the tires even get here, you trying to get out on the road in a monster truck setting, trying to convince everybody else that you're a monster truck. You don't even have tires on there. That's the whole main thing about being a fucking monster truck. You are an illusion. So that water, that bucket, it's lust. This is why they convince you that you could have love at first sight. Impossible. Unless your definition of love is truly founded and relative to your love for a cheeseburger. In that perspective, you can love a cheeseburger right off the, oh shit, that shit looks so good. Damn. Oh, and it tastes good too. Oh, I love this shit. No. That experience is lust. When you see somebody, an 18-year-old boy, essentially, meeting an 18-year-old girl, same situation, same problem. They don't even know what love is. Again, their brain, their water isn't even fully developed. At first sight, it's a slap in the face to what that is supposed to be, to what that truly is. It's lust. It's in the eyes. Is love in the eyes? Is love in the legs? Is love in the chest, the ass, the cheeks, the lips? No. It's lust. Even when you get in a relationship and you are supposedly loving your man, your woman, your loved one, even call it a loved one. This is how language manipulates your reality. It can't be refuted that it's impossible to experience something as deep as love at first sight. To see that and analyze that is to know that it's made for a purpose. And that purpose has nothing to do with the real definition of love. I didn't make that up. It's just an observable fact. True love goes beyond this experience. What goes beyond this experience? That child that was beyond this experience before it got here. That's it. Anything else is a story you're telling yourself. Is a romantic novel that we are using to fill the gaps, fill the space that we have from being mind controlled and mentally manipulated, psychologically manipulated, spiritually manipulated for our entire lives. Generations of lives before we even got here. This is why part of the shrinking down, the watering down, the expanding of that bucket and compared to a concentrated cup of love, the watering down is to take love and water it into a house cat, your dog. This is when you have people saying raising a dog, raising a cat is equivalent to raising a child. Absurdity. Psychosis. If that's the case, that's turning you into an animal. It's normalized. It's become a normal thing to equate love of your dog to love of your child. It's a crime. It's meant to control. The criminal element of that relationship comes in realizing that if you were to raise your child as you would raise a dog, that goes against everything natural in your experience and further extends the mind control program. raising animals, raising robots, raising statistics. This is why it's normalized. This is why people who hear that, when I say that there's a difference, they get butthurt. It's because that parasite has infiltrated the way they experience this reality. On top of that, when I say normalized, normalized to who? It's normalized to the Western experience. Because if you go around the rest of the world, animals are not domesticated the way they've been in the Western world. Beyond here, you don't have dogs and cats all up in the beds and the couches and all that shit. They're dirty as fuck. People know that. And if cleanliness is next to godliness, if you got dog and cat shit all over your bed and your couch, you are no longer God or godly. You're a dirty animal. According to that definition, I'm not making this up. By that definition, it's dirty. Your water has been tainted. Now, is this to take away from what the feelings that people have for each other, the feelings that people have for their dogs, the feeling that people have for whatever it is that they say is love? No, of course not. It's to reinforce the reality, the separation between what is and what isn't. There is a definite separation, a divide between love and lust. If you can understand what that is, then figure out what that separation between what you have for somebody else, what you have for your dog, what you have for a burger, figure out what that is. I don't know what that is right now. I really don't care. You can say whatever. You can make up a fucking word. It doesn't matter to me. The point is, it's not this. It's not love. That is reserved for something with a purpose. That purpose is to raise life. Evolve life. Evolve beings who are experiencing this reality. It's reserved for that. Other than that is romanticism. You love God, you love your dog, you love your cat, you love your partner. That's all romanticism. You're making it all up. It's a story you have to tell yourself. The water that's in you is the same water that's in your child. That child is you. If anything, it's your responsibility. As you have a responsibility to yourself, to raise yourself, to clean yourself, to evolve yourself, to love yourself. Your parents, healthy in that love, raising a child, teach you to love yourself. When you become of age, you no longer need them to raise you in that love. They're there. But since you are raising yourself now because they've trained you, you now love yourself and now have the ability to love and raise the next generation.